Hey community, this is Dr. Hugh coming at you, and today I have an accumulation of 35 years of experience. I'm 50 years old. I got in the health space when I was 15 years old. I lost 80 pounds in a matter of 6 months, and this is what really led me to my journey in the natural healthcare field. And if you're suffering from any chronic condition at all, this is something, this webinar, if you're watching it on YouTube, if you're listening to it, you're going to want to watch or listen to this entire presentation. Now, one of the things is if you are listening to it on audio somewhere, is there's going to be a link somewhere here where you can go to the website, my website, and actually download this presentation. But what we're going to be talking about is are your vegetables causing more damage than good when it comes to your health? And after seeing 25 years of clinical experience, actually seeing clients, is a lot of people come to me and they quote have a healthy diet. Well, what is a healthy diet? Lots of vegetables, lots and lots of vegetables and no protein, and that is not a healthy diet. And I'm going to try and connect the dots. So clinically, what I'm going to present today is information that I've accumulated over 25 years, and in the last 6 months, I've been really studying this and trying to connect all the dots to bring this content to you so you don't need to suffer with a chronic condition if you actually are suffering from this. Now, the gist of it is you're going to want to do a carnivore-ish diet, which means protein and then vegetables strictly. Now you're like, oh my goodness, hold the phone, and you're going to have to listen to all this. Now, clinically, I can tell you, I see the most difficult cases. I see people all over the world, and the people that come to me are severe chronic illness. They have, can't get out of bed. They have chronic fibromyalgia. They have chronic digestive issues. They can't think. They have brain fog. They can't go to work. These people have been mauled in the medical system. And since I've been implementing this regimen, this lifestyle that I'm going to go over, I've had breakthroughs in cases. So, for example, one of my cases, she's, I think, 56, and she did a carnivore-ish diet along with some other functional medicine protocols, and we're still working with her case right now. She had chronic diarrhea since she was in high school. Chronic diarrhea. Can you imagine that? Disaster pants. The first thing that she was concerned about wherever she goes, where's the bathroom? I got to find the bathroom, right? So doing the carnivore-ish diet, eliminating the things that are causing havoc in her digestive system. In basically 3 weeks, she went from having chronic diarrhea since she was a teenager to zero. Zero diarrhea, so consistent bowel movements. That's what we're aiming for. So really, the title of this is The Dark Side of Vegetables. Now, one of the things you have to realize is you can't make a blanket statement. Any blanket statement is just false. Now, one of the things is vegetables are good regardless. This is not the case. In my clinical experience, all the research I've done, vegetables can cause a lot of havoc on people's bodies. All right, the first thing we want to do is we just want to go over some definitions. Now, there's not a lot of complex words in here, but there's one word that I want to make sure that you understand. So I'm going to give you the definition of this. Now, all the stuff I'm talking about here is researched. Now, this comes from Harvard. Now, one of the terms that we're going to use is anti-nutrients. Now, what the heck is an anti-nutrient? This is specifically in plants. Plant food, like tomatoes, vegetables, that kind of thing, beans. So an anti-nutrients are in plants. They are compounds designed to protect, from bacterial infections and being eaten by insects. Now we're talking the vegetables, so broccoli. Broccoli produces anti-nutrients that protect it from infections, bacterial infections, other diseases, right? And it also produces chemicals that when insects eat them, they have a very, very bad taste, and the insect might actually die. So when you look at our world, right? God created the world. Look at the world and look at the plants. 90% of the globe is covered by plants. So what does this tells you? This tells you that plants have a serious survival mechanism. They can survive lots of different things because their survival mechanisms, these anti-nutrients that kill bacteria, right, and will defend from other bugs eating them are very, very powerful. Now, how many animals have gone extinct, right? I mean, a lot of these animals have just died off, right? Because their survival skills haven't been par and they've died off. They're extinct now. So anti-nutrients, which are coming from plants, this is the whole conversation around this right here. All right, so again, this comes from Harvard, and down here is a research article. Now, if you go to my website, and somewhere where you're watching this or listening to this, if you go to my website, I'll have this whole presentation there, so you can download this, and you can click these links for the references. But again, this comes from Harvard. So anti-nutrients right there. Okay, so these are goitrins, so they affect your thyroid. So where are they found? They're found in broccoli, cabbage, and kale. So these are poisons that vegetables produce to protect themselves. So we have goitrins, lectins, which are in beans, peanuts, soybeans, and whole grains. So if you look at how many whole grains people are eating, how many vegetables are people eating, and they're sick, and they're wondering, they come to me, Doc, I'm eating a healthy diet, and they've been bombarded that vegetables, and grains are good. And in reality, these have anti-nutrients that are causing devastation. Now, clinically, I can tell you clinically, the people that I put on this carnivore-ish diet have gotten way better results than the people in the past that I have not had this knowledge and this understanding on connecting the dots. This can drastically save people's lives. Now, there's also a thing called oxalates, which are anti-nutrients, are poisons, right? So where are oxalates found? Green leafy vegetables, tea, beans, nuts. Spinach is high in oxalates. And here in the presentation, I'll be going over more of oxalates. Phytic acid, whole grains, legumes, and nuts. So you can see all these foods that we're eating have some degree of poisons in our body. Now, if we're eating these foods over and over and over, what is that doing to your gut? What is that doing to your health? It's causing leaky gut, constipation, diarrhea, brain fog, brain fatigue. All these things here happen. Saponins, legumes, and tannins are in teas. So these are defense mechanisms, defense chemicals that all plants on planet Earth produce to make sure that other predators, we're a predator, human beings, don't eat them, or if they do eat them, they get sick, and we have a nation of sick people. Here's another research article right down here on what are anti-nutrients, and I'm going to read this. They appear to be a form of a defense mechanisms. This is the defense mechanism. This is the whole theme here. Are you eating vegetables that have a bunch of defense mechanisms and are making you sick? And if you are eating a lot of these vegetables and potatoes and all these different things and nuts and you're sick, but you've been told it's healthy, it's not healthy. This is actually producing problems. They appear to be a form of defense mechanisms, right? That's why plants survive so well. With which plants protect themselves from the dangers posed by insects and harmful microbes. In humans, now this is critical, in humans, anti-nutrients are thought to lead to nutritional deficiencies, not thought, scientifically proven, lead to nutritional deficiencies, bloating, nausea, rashes, and headaches. Now, if you have a bad gut, you have a bad life, period. 80 to 90% of your immune system is located in your gut. So let me say that. 80 to 90% of your immune system is located in your gut. So if you have a bad gut, your whole immune system is going to be trashed. All right, so here's a nice picture. I like visuals, anti-nutrients, so you can see where lectins are in, phytates are in, right? Oxalates and tannins, just to give you a visual so you can see what you're eating. All right, now in this slide here is the type of anti-nutrients and what do they do. So phytic acid reduces mineral absorption, so we need minerals. Minerals are critical for enzymatic reactions to occur. So if you have a bad gut, you're probably not digesting your minerals, and minerals speed up reactions, meaning if you don't have enough minerals in your body, reactions cannot occur. Your mitochondria can't function, which is the powerhouse of your body, and you just get sick. Lectins inhibit nutritional absorption, cause leaky gut, scientifically proven. Oxalates inhibit calcium absorption. Tannins impair iron absorption. Goitrins affect iodine, and then saponins inhibit nutritional absorption. So what you want to take away is, do you have a chronic health problem? And no one has explained this in-depth eating or lifestyle and how these vegetables may be doing more harm than good. So phytates is an anti-nutrient. It's a chemical there to protect the plant. So you can see it's in brown rice, it's in oats, it's in flakes, it's in chickpeas. So you just want to look at this and maybe you have a realization, wow, a lot of the food I'm eating is sick, but this is what I've been told to eat because it's, quote, healthy, but it may not be healthy for you. Now, hey, some people can eat this and have no problems. If you're watching this video, you probably have a health problem that you're concerned about, and you're like, hey, maybe this is a correlation to this. Okay, these are lectins in here. So we have them in tomatoes, wheat, potatoes, or beans, chickpeas. So these are lectins, which are, again, are anti-nutrients, which are really going to affect the gut and cause leaky gut. Now, this study is, and there's thousands and thousands of studies on what I'm telling you. I don't want to go over a bunch of research, but I want to show you a couple pieces so you can understand. So this was published in December 2022, which is fairly new. Now I'm going to explain this here because this is real critical. The gut-brain axis review on association between Parkinson's disease and plant lectins. Holy smokers, OMG, this is the next slide. What did they conclude? They've concluded that lectins can actually contribute to Parkinson's disease. Chemicals in plants cause detrimental things. And if you have a chronic health condition, you really need to look at this and say, hey, is this causing me problems? Now, I'm not going to say a broad statement that 100% of people are going to have problems, but the people I see are really chronically ill. Chronic illness is devastating, and if you're getting the wrong advice, and I'll be honest with you, it takes lots and lots and lots of research and connecting the dots. That's what I'm really good at. At 25 years of clinical experience, I can look at a case and I can connect dots. So let's go in the conclusion of this paper right here. So it says plant lectins may lead to pathological Lewy bodies. What is that? That's basically degeneration of your nervous system in anywhere in your nervous system, right? So we have a nervous system in our gut, and it goes up to the brain. So these Lewy bodies are very bad. They're basically neurological tissue that's dying. So plant lectins may lead to pathological Lewy body formation in the GIT, which is right here, abbreviation, in the gastrointestinal tract, all right? Now, this is shocking. The Lewy bodies can then travel retrogradally via the VN, which is the vagus nerve, VN. So they travel up the vagus nerve, just like little ants, right? They travel up your vagus nerve, and I'll show you where your vagus nerve goes. And they go in this area of your brain called the substantia nigra, and that produces dopamine. And people that have, right, poor dopamine have Parkinson's syndrome, right? Or they have the Parkinson's kind of classic signs and symptoms. Goes into the nigra, the substantia nigra, and contribute to the classic neurological manifestations of PD, which is Parkinson's disease. So this research is showing that lectins that you eat, the potatoes that you're eating, the wheat that you're eating, the potatoes and tomatoes kind of sound the same, right? Potatoes, tomatoes, beans and peanuts, these things produce Lewy body diseases, Lewy bodies, which are just, like I said, degenerative connective tissue. They basically crawl up the vagus nerve. Here's your brain right here. See this yellow thing right in here? That's your vagus nerve. You see how it's all in your gut? These nerves crawl up your vagus nerve into your brain, into the part of your brain called your substantia nigra, and zap it. You don't produce dopamine. Then you start getting these Parkinson's syndrome. Now, this doesn't happen, not everyone develops Parkinsonism, right? But maybe you have constipation, maybe you have bloating, maybe you have diarrhea, maybe you have brain fog, maybe you have all these other minor symptoms. And Parkinson's disease, once you've been diagnosed, that process in your brain where it actually affects that center in there, the substantia nigra, has been going on for decades, right? So there's lots of research behind what we're going over here. Here are some foods that are high in oxalates. So you have spinach is the number one chards, right? So these things have high oxalates. Almonds have high oxalates. Hey, I'm eating healthy. I'm eating vegetables. I'm eating spinach. I'm doing a spinach smoothie. I'm eating potatoes, and boom, and you're sick and sick and sick. And you're like, what am I doing? Like, I'm trying to eat healthy, but I continue to get sicker and sicker. Why? Because no one has connected these dots for you. Now, check out this. This is actually, this is a blow up. This is a microscope of what oxalates look like in your body. So what do they look like right here? They look like what? Little spears, little glass shards. Boom. So these oxalates can be very, very devastating to your body. They can like scrape your organs. They can scrape your arteries and cause inflammation, systemic gross inflammation. Yeah, I went to the doctor. They said I have fibromyalgia. I eat healthy, right? I eat low fat. I eat my spinach. I eat my potatoes. I eat my beans. I avoid meat, but you're sick, right? Because these are the anti-nutrients. Why does spinach have oxalates in them? Why would that be? Because the spinach doesn't want to be eaten, right? It's a vegetable. It does not want to be eaten. So it has a protective mechanism, the anti-nutrients, which allow it to survive. And again, look at society out there. 90% of the globe is plants. So plants are very, very intelligent. God designed plants to be very intelligent. Okay, this is another anti-nutrient, just so you can see, where these are coming from. Like, are you eating these on a regular basis? Oats are healthy. Oatmeal is not healthy. Oatmeal is, I never eat oatmeal. Oatmeal is disastrous. It's full of a bunch of anti-nutrients. There's no good healthy fats in there. It shoots up your sugars, shoots up your insulin. It's not a good food. All right, so these are some things that I just got from Google, right? So you can see right here some of the stuff. So oats are an anti-nutrient, and guess what? They are. Oats contain anti-nutrients, phytic acid. Here's another one. What foods are the highest in anti-nutrients? Grains, beans, legumes, and nuts. Now, I hope there's some light bulbs going on. I hope this can help you. I hope this audio can make a drastic impact in you, because if you're listening to it this far in 17 minutes, you probably have some kind of chronic health condition. And I hope there's some light bulbs going on, because clinically, I'm a clinician. Like, I see people all over the world. This works. And it's in the last, basically 3 months that I've connected all these dots. Since January, so it's May 1st, I've been carnivore-ish. And at the end of the video, I'm going to kind of go over what I'm doing. Basically, it's really simple. I'm eating meat and I'm eating fruit. Now, there's very specific fruit that you're going to want to eat depending on the spectrum where you're at. Are you really, really sick, or are you just looking for optimal health? The people that I see are really, really sick. All right, so what I'm going to show you this here. So we have nuts, right? So what I'm going to show you here, this is a walnut tree. That's a nut, right? So when you're eating the walnut itself is actually the seed. So you have this plant here, and then you have this green leaf around it, and then inside you have that nut there, right? And then if you crack the nut, then you have the almond, and the almond is the seed. Now, why are seeds have so many anti-nutrients? Because that is the most viable thing that the tree is producing. What I mean by that, the tree knows that if that seed gets destroyed, if that seed gets eaten, what's going to happen to the survivability of the walnut tree? If all these walnuts would get eaten, right? And what I mean by eaten is a predator, a human being comes in and starts eating it, grinding it down, that seed. So nuts are seeds, almonds are seeds, cashews are seeds, peanuts are seeds. They're the most prized possession of that tree, because that is what's going to make sure that the next generation of walnut trees continue to grow. I hope that makes sense. So when you look at it just from a survival mechanism, the way God designed it, plants are 90% of the globe. These nuts have chemicals in there where if animals eat them, they get sick. And this is how they've survived for so many years. So I want to show you that so you can understand what we're talking about and the way God designed foods to be eaten. Now, again, remember, phytic acid is an anti-nutrient. If you go all the way to the beginning, we talk about what it does. It's a protective chemical that's going to allow the seed to survive or the vegetable to survive, and so other predators, rabbits, humans, don't come and eat them. So what foods has the most phytic acid, which are beans, legumes, nuts, okay, and grains. So there are going to be a common theme here, like what's happening? Are you eating a lot of these things? Now let's get into actually real solutions here. Now, I Googled this. What foods do not contain anti-nutrients? Do not. And it says what? Unprocessed meats. Meat is the most highly nutritious thing that you can consume. And it's not going to cause your arteries to stroke out and increase cholesterol and you to have a heart attack. That is total 100% propaganda. And that is falsely proven with thousands and thousands of studies. So you have to realize, like, what is the agenda here? What do we make in this country? We make a lot of wheat. We make a lot of corn. We want to push that on that. We want to sell that. So meats do not contain anti-nutrients, and meats are the most nutritional food that you can eat on Mother Earth. Does beef have anti-nutrients? And it says raised meats, vitamins and nutrients from properly raised meats do not have any anti-nutrients. So if you get rid of your vegetables and your almonds and your nuts, which all produce chemicals, and if you're sick, do you think that might give your gut a break? That might decrease your chronic illness? If you don't eat spinach, it has those oxalates that are grinding on your arteries and your organs and your muscles. If you eliminate those, you may get better. Yeah, there's possibility. There's hope to get well and not to suffer with chronic illness. All right, so this is what I call the carnivore-ish lifestyle. And like I say, I started this in January. It's May. This is pretty much what I eat. I eat meat, lots of meat. I eat probably 2 pounds of meat a day, and then I eat vegetables. Now, I'm not telling you that I'm, like Mr. Perfect, and I don't touch anything that's outside of meat and fruit. That would be a complete 100% lie. I'm a human being, right? We all have weaknesses. Of course, I cheat. It's not about perfection. Nothing here is about perfection. What is it? It's about moving in the right direction. It's moving in a guided path that you know will bring prosperity, happiness, and health. And since I've been on the carnivore diet for roughly 4 months, I feel the best I have in many, many, many years. For example, I would have some mild bloating sometimes, right? That's completely gone. I don't get that. You know, when I get mild bloating is when I go off of this. For example, I went to a restaurant. And when I go to the restaurants now, I just basically order hamburger without the bun. That's all I order. And coleslaw, right? So that's what I order. So I specifically say no bun to the waitress. No bun, and I want coleslaw. Well, what does she bring? She brings the hamburger with the freaking bun. Now, I'm a human being, and that bread, I haven't had bread in like 3 months. And that bread looks so damn delicious. What happened? It went down my throat. I ate it. What happened the next day? I was so bloated and constipated, right? I had a hard time going to the bathroom because that was wheat. There was a bunch of bad stuff on there. Now, let's say I was eat that and then I had a bunch of vegetables and nuts. I would be a crazy mess. So this has helped me out. I've also been going to the gym since I've been 15 years old, so 35 years old, and I've been at a plateau of weight for 10 years, how much weight I can lift in the gym. Since I went carnivore-ish, I've gone up lots and lots of weight. My muscles are way bigger. They're fuller. My sex drive has increased. A lot of great things have happened to me, and this is all because I'm eating way more protein, and I've eliminated all these anti-nutrients that I was eating, quote, being healthy, right? So this can make a huge impact in your life. So this picture here, I call it carnivore-ish. So you want to focus on meat, eggs, and dairy primarily, and then you want to get your basically carbohydrates from fruit. Now, this is a really great picture. So this is all the nutritional facts of a ribeye steak. Now, if you look at this and you actually look at what nutritional value is in meat. Now, one thing you have to realize is the vitamins in meat are readily available, means that your body really absorbs them. When it comes to meat, it's very easy to digest meat. You know what's really hard to digest is the broccoli and the fiber. And when it comes to the nutrients, when it comes to broccoli, the nutrients are really tied in hard with the fiber. So it's hard to extract the nutrients from plants. Where versus meat, it's very easy. Now look at this. Meat has calcium, copper, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, selenium, zinc, choline, right? Choline is for connective tissue. Omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin K, vitamin E, vitamin D, B12. The only place on planet Earth you can get B12 is fleshy meat. B9, B6, B5, B3, B2, B1, and vitamin A. So this is all in meat. Meat is one of the healthiest foods. I'm going to go is the healthiest food that human beings can eat. Now here's a rule of thumb. And this can be kind of hard to follow sometimes. Is you should eat, if a 150 pound person, the goal is to eat 150 grams of protein every single day. Now, some people may or may not be able to do that. Like me, I'm 240 pounds. I try and consume about 200 grams of protein every single day. Now, the ideal would be 240. So I really go between 200 and 240. So for every pound, you should be trying to eat a gram of protein. Now, let's give you some context. So here's a pound of beef, right? 100% grass-fed beef. And I'm not a stickler. Like if you can't afford free-range meats, then fine. Just go and get the special beef, whatever it is. Like it's going to make a drastic impact in your health. Now, if you can afford the grass-fed beef, then you should. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't always get the grass-fed beef. Why? Because it's really, really expensive, right? And being on the carnivore-ish regimen or lifestyle, you eat a lot of meat. It's a little more expensive than going and eating a bowl of cereal, right, for breakfast or whatever. So when I wake up in the morning, I have videos on my channel about this. I call it my carnivore cereal. It's hamburger. What I'll do is I'll cook up 3 pounds of hamburger, and that might last 1 to 2 days. Maybe I cook up 5 pounds of hamburger, and that lasts 5 days, right? So just to give you an idea, this is 1 pound of 90-10, right? 90-10, so 10% fat. And within this 1 pound here, there's 90 grams of protein. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you got to eat 1.5 pounds of beef every single day. You know, maybe think, whoa, that's a lot. And it might be a lot, but guess what? When you eat beef, you're not hungry. And then when you eat this much beef, guess what happens? You don't eat all the crap. You don't eat all the almonds. You don't eat the broccoli. You don't eat the spinach. All these things that have anti-nutrients in there that are causing havoc on your digestive system. Now, next portion is really, really important for fruit. Now, what I'm recommending here is that you try it on and see if it works for you, right? If you're already kicking ass doing whatever you're doing, then ignore what I'm talking about. But if you have a health condition, try it on and see if it works for you, right? This is really important. I have this fella up in Canada, and he had chronic constipation, bad constipation. And he did a carnivore-ish lifestyle, which is what I'm laying out here. And he went for a few days and just ate meat, which is great. Like you can just go hardcore and just eat meat. I think you want to eat meat and fruit, and I'll explain why you want to eat meat and fruit. Let me explain that now. When you look at fruit, why is fruit better than plants? Because fruits are designed to be eaten, right? So this is how fruit survives. Let's say you have an apple. An apple is designed to be eaten. Why? Because if an apple's eaten by a deer, let's say, a deer is going to eat that apple. The seeds are going to go in its digestive tract, and then it's going to poop it out. So this is how fruits have survived, is because they look delicious. What looks delicious? Broccoli or a nice strawberry? What looks better? What looks better? A green apple, a green tomato or a red tomato? The red tomato, it ripens, it changes color. Bananas, what looks better or even tastes better, a green banana or a ripened banana? It's the ripened banana. When these fruits ripen, they produce sugar. Now, sugar is not the enemy. Let me say it. Sugar is not the enemy. You need carbs, all right? But you need carbs from certain foods that don't have anti-nutrients. So as these fruits ripen, they produce scents that say, come and eat me. They change color that say, come and eat me. They taste a lot better. They say, come and eat me, because when you eat them, you eat the seed, and then the seed gets planted. Now, here's the caution. And this just comes through clinical trial and error, I guess you could say. I've had clients that did carnivore-ish but cannot handle certain fruits. And in particular, the fruits that they can handle are the fruits that have seeds inside them. So you see all these yellow things, that's the tomato. That's the seed. You see the raspberry right here, these things right here in there, that's the raspberry seed. This right here is a blueberry, that's the blueberry seed. This right here is banana, that dark thing in here, that's a banana seed. So some people, and again, I see really chronically ill people. Some people are sensitive to these seeds in these fruits, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, and bananas. So initially, depending on where you are on the spectrum of how much disease you have and how much chronic illness you have and how much bad gut you have and how much brain fog and fibromyalgia and depression and anxiety you have, I'm going to tell people, avoid these fruits that have seeds in them. Now, what do we eat then? Lots of cool things that we can eat. You can eat these fruits that you can just cut away the seeds, right? You eat an apple, all that right there is the meat. No seeds. That's better on your gut. Because again, when you are eating these little seeds, even in fruit seeds, they're still there. They don't want to be crushed. They don't want to be like with your teeth crushed up. So some people can be very sensitive to these seeds where they produce these survival chemicals, right? So initially, here's a pear. You cut the pear out. That's the seed, right? There's no seed in the flesh. Eat a pear. Eat a cantaloupe. Scoop out all the seeds in the center, scoop it out, and you got the meat. So when it comes to vegetables, depending on where you are in the spectrum of how bad your case is, I'm going to tell people, initially avoid eating these strawberries and raspberries and blueberries and bananas. Now, it's not saying that you have to avoid these forever. I'm not saying that you need to avoid nuts forever. What I'm saying, though, until you get well, until your body's functioning better, that may be contributing to your chronic illness, and you can't understand why you're sick. Because every time you eat 3-4 times a day, 5 times a day, or 6 times a day, depending on how much you're eating, you may be putting a poison in your body and had no idea this is causing problems. You may get up, I'm going to have some cashews. I'm going to have some almonds. I'm going to have some almond milk. Right? I'm going to have a big salad here for lunch full of spinach and broccoli and some other things, right? So this is really the point of this. I've seen traumatic changes in people that have changed this. Now, we're almost done here. This right here, an unripened banana. No one wants to eat a green banana. Why? Because it tastes nasty, right? There's a bunch of starch in there, right? It hasn't sweetened up. Now, this right here, this green banana, the seeds inside the banana are not ready yet. See, this is critical. Mother Nature is very, very smart. The seeds in there are not ready yet. So it doesn't want to be eaten. Monkeys and animals, if they had a choice between a green banana and an overripe banana, guess what they're going for? The overripe banana, because it tastes way better. So as this ripens, it gets more appealing. It gets more tasteful, right? And here it has high sugar and lower fiber content in here. And this is just way more appealing for animals, humans, to eat these fruits that are ripe. Ripe fruits are good. You never like to eat a fruit that's not ripe, right? It just doesn't taste good. And in this case right here, a banana. Even a pineapple, right? I've cut open a pineapple and it hasn't been ripe and it doesn't taste very good. Okay, last slide right here is there's lots of people on YouTube that have great content on this. Paul Saladino, I've read his book. I've geeked out on his content. He has great content in here. He's basically doing the carnivore-ish lifestyle, what we talk about here. If you go to his station or his YouTube station and you start following him, there's going to be other people that pop up as well that are in the carnivore-ish space. So I'm a fan of carnivore-ish with fruit. And if you have if you have a well gut, there's probably some other things that you can add, some like potatoes and those kind of things and rice. But if you're chronically ill, like I'm dealing with chronically ill people, you need to be very, very stringent until you start moving the needle on healing and reverse your chronic illness, which is possible. Where there's help, there's hope. As long as you're alive, as long as you have a pulse, there's a possibility for you to recover for whatever disease you have. Now, you need to start at the low-hanging fruit. Like, if you go out and you get $30,000 of medical care, expensive stem cell therapy or IV injections or whatever it is, but you're eating all these anti-nutrients, you're not eating any protein that has good healthy fat that actually builds tissue, and you're surviving on vegetables and you're sick, that's a problem. Okay, with that being said, this is Dr. Hugh. Take care. Bye-bye.